Thank you for being here today.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
It's
We
really,
are
really fun
honored.
to hear all of the things that have brought you to today.
Right? It's so, oh my gosh, it's funny to hear someone read that out loud instead of seeing it on paper. It's like a lot of different lifetimes all balled up into one.
We are these very complex and multidimensional beings, aren't we? And I think that you are such a beautiful example of that diversity and that growth and that evolution and flow in life. And so we're thrilled to just have a conversation today about this idea of energetic health and spiritual well-being and kind of what your personal experience has been with it, and how you've, again, kind of seen it grow and unfold and expand in your own journey through all of these really diverse paths. Maybe to start off the conversation, you could tell us a little bit about yourself, and how you got here, and to be a Reiki Master Teacher and this singing auctioneer that is bringing joy and well-being into the world in so many unique ways.
Oh, thank you, Leah. Okay, sure. Yeah. So I guess I'll have to preface it by saying that a lot of it came from power of intention and intuition, both of these journeys. And it's funny because right now they're very simultaneous and working alongside one another, and happened after my 10-year, 10-year act, I suppose, as a performer.
Right, career, right.
Yeah, exactly, career as a performer. So back when in 2006, as you heard in my bio, when I really started diving much more into retreats and meditation practice, and I was just really committed to this spiritual journey and journey of personal growth. And it has not left me since. I mean, that moment really was the beginning of just like, this is my life's goal. My life's goal is just to be happy and to feel peace and to be, the happiest, best, most complete version of myself I can be, most authentic. And I continue to do that every day. It's like, constant growth. But this was the beginning of it. And at the time, my boyfriend at the time was living in a commune setting, I would say, in Santa Cruz. And I visited there a lot and I loved it. And one of his housemates had just had a Reiki session. And I had never heard of Reiki before, but for some reason, after hearing about his experience, was so drawn to it. And not just drawn to it in the sense of, oh gosh, I really want to try that. I was drawn to it. There was something inside of me that was like, I want to learn that. And I didn't even know what it was.
Wow.
And now just with my work in spirituality and past lives and all of that, I do believe that having such a strong draw to something like that is because we've done it before. And our souls have been there. Our souls have been healers. Our souls have been musicians. Our souls have been whatever it is that we are really drawn to. Sometimes it's certain geographical places. So fast forward, throughout the years, I was of course performing in the show in San Francisco, and from time to time would just look into different courses, different teachers. There was a time when I visited Thailand, and I had thought, it was in 2008, I believe, 2008. Yes. And I'd thought about staying longer and doing a course there in Reiki, but it didn't work out. But I just kept kind of looking intermittently throughout the years. Well, we fast forward again all the way to 2018. Meanwhile, I'm continuing to practice and attend retreats and all of that. There were a couple people that I love that I'm very close with who were going through some really difficult things. And I was at that point really interested in learning Reiki even more. I was like, I feel like I could help them. And this is something that I've always wanted to do. And to be honest, actually, we're going to get a little personal. I need to rewind a little bit. It was a few months prior to this, it was my very first retreat as a guest at Silence Day, where I ended up working. I was in a long relationship at the time. And while I was on that retreat, it was silent, and I was able to pay much more attention to my thoughts without any distractions, because there was no noise. There was no TV, there was no music, there was nothing. It was just, okay, let's go. Like, you know, I really had a lot more mindfulness and awareness of my thoughts. And I realized how often my mind and my thought would go to worrying about this person that I was with, how not healthy that was for my mind and my soul. And I had been kind of on the fence of, do I stay in this relationship? Do I leave this relationship? And that experience really gave me the clarity. So after that retreat, it's when I also got my joy tattoo, my infinite joy tattoo written on my wrist, so that I always could remember that that is the essence inside of my heart, especially during difficult times. But I let go of that relationship. And because I was able to let go of that mind clutter and the, you know, that, I don't want to use the word negative, but lower vibration, just worry, unnecessary thoughts that were cluttering my mind, it opened up this space, and I started getting messages, downloads, like, you know, very empathic experiences, some psychic experiences, connecting with friends who were, you know, somewhere completely else, but I knew what was going on with them. And so that, alongside with the loved ones in my family going through some difficult things at the time, I said, okay, I feel like I need to look into Reiki now. So I looked into Reiki, did just a Google search, immediately found Lori, my teacher. She was like the first one that popped up somehow, and everything about her was right. Unlike the rest of the teachers I had looked into, who, so something about the classes, it was like, you know, they were a big group class, or they were for a whole week that you committed to this. Lori was one-on-one, and this is how I teach too. She taught one-on-one. She was nearby. I loved her vibe. She was very much like, there are no rules, stay open, you know, be open for receiving. I loved everything she was about, her energy. And that was that. And so I booked my first certification and training with her. And the night before my training, I was reading an article, and this is very common in Reiki. This is a very common quote, but I was reading this article, and in big, bold, black letters, it popped out and said, when the student is ready, the teacher will come. And we hear that in Reiki, and it's really true. And so, and I loved that, because I was like, okay, here I've been like curious about Reiki for over 10 years, but now is exactly the right time. So that's how that really unfolded. And then I had my first certification with her, and she was so funny. She's like, I have a feeling you're going to call me tomorrow and book level 2 and master. I was like, oh no, you know, I'll wait, let me see. But I was so into it, and I was so ready. I had been ready, but I
you had 10 years of this so developing on lots of different levels, other than even just your conscious level.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So that's really how Reiki kind of began. And then, you know, it was a trip, because I did my first certification. I wanted to wait a month, because there's something called like the 21-day cleanse in Reiki once you become certified, where each chakra gets cleansed for 24 hours, and it goes through that process 3 times. So that's 7 chakras, 7 days, 3 times is 21 days. So, and what happens is it helps to open up your chakras even more, open up to energy, help to release old energies, a lot of what goes on within the Reiki practice already. And so I wanted to make sure I waited before getting certified for levels 2 and master 3. And, but I started kind of practicing on my loved ones, because I had no intention whatsoever of making Reiki a business. I just wanted to practice and learn it and help people that I love. And it was my very first session that I had with someone in my family, and we got similar visions. We got similar messages, like the same messages actually that were happening. We weren't speaking words. We shared this after the session.
Wow.
This was someone who wasn't sleeping, who was dealing with a lot of stress and anxiety and fell asleep during the session. And it was just so healing and amazing and mind blowing for both of us, really, because I was new to it and I was like, okay, something's going on here. Like,
Right.
I want to, you know, continue learning and continue with. And I threw a post up on Facebook and I was like, hey, I just got certified as a Reiki practitioner. And the response was unbelievable. People like, I want to get, you know, can I get a session from you? I'd love to try it. And I was like, okay, I guess Reiki wants me to go in this direction and make it a business. So we did that. And then it kept growing. And then about a year later, it wasn't until a year later where I decided I would be a teacher, because I had a lot of people asking if I would teach them, because they were curious. And I said, well, I'm not certified yet because I wasn't drawn to being a teacher, but it looks like Reiki wants me to do that now. So I just followed that. And I've discovered that I love teaching so much. It's really a special experience to be able to help others, you know, spread this light and healing energy in the world.
Can you tell us a little bit about what Reiki actually means and is?
Yeah, absolutely. So Reiki, if you break the word down, is really Rei means higher consciousness, and Qi, like Qigong, the Qi energy, means universal life force energy. So you putting the words together, and you are getting the work of this very powerful universal life force energy, but with the energy of that higher consciousness, which is often why, you know, your intuition comes in. Sometimes messages will happen during a Reiki session because you're receiving this information straight from the divine. It adds a bit more of that, like edge of divinity, if you will. What Reiki does is it's not me as a practitioner who does any sort of healing. It's the Reiki that does it all. I'm merely a channel to the Reiki energy, as are all practitioners. But Reiki is really just a very loving, very gentle way of helping to rebalance energy within your body that might be out of balance. It helps to release old energies that no longer serve us, that we might be holding on to. We as humans, oh, my cat. We as humans
cute kitty.
hold on to energy from emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual experiences from our lifetime, from previous lifetimes, that are maintained within our body, and they can manifest in different ways, like pain or anxiety or depression, often chronic pain or you know, injury or illness. Reiki just kind of helps to gently massage that out and help to release some of this old stuff that just doesn't need to be there, that is ready to be released, and really open up a pathway for the new bright energy that's meant for us.